Hi, so we're going to do a review today on the Ethereal Visions Illuminated Tarot deck. You can see the gold gilding. That's on all the cards. It's super pretty. So this deck is by Matt Hughes, who recently did a Kickstarter for an Oracle deck that's also super amazing. But this was the tarot deck in its first. And I think you get a really good feel for his art style and the way that he views the tarot. And I don't know, there's a lot of genuine insight in this. So, comes with a really cool little book. Sometimes you get a hardcover book. This one is more of a, like the pamphlet instruction style, which I don't mind because I'm an experienced reader, but if you're not, this might not be quite enough to really give you a good semblance of the cards as a whole if you're learning them for the first time. So make sure you kind of have something to supplement that if you're in need of more in-depth understanding of the cards. Now the cool thing, one of the cool things, I'm going to tell you a bunch of cool things about this deck. But one of the things I really enjoyed is that Matt did a couple of unique cards to his deck. They're in the Major Arcana, and they are the Well and the Artist. So the Well is number 22, which is a Master Universe number. It's a building number. You can break it down to 4, which is also a powerful numerology number, but 22 and 11 are numbers that can stay as is because those repeated double digits, they're just important. There's a synchronicity to them. There's something to take notice of. So the Well, it's astrological correspondence. Another fucking dope thing he does is tell you in this book the astrological correspondence of each card. But this one, it's Gaia. The Well is the birthplace of ideas, inspiration, and transformation. All things are birthed from this creatrix, and knowledge flows freely to those who seek it. Nurturing, opportunity, nature, and creative. And this deck does do reversals. Not all decks do, and that's okay. Even if your deck does and you don't read them, that's fine as well. But the reverse for this is destruction, endings, and cold. Now, I will say this card, as much as I enjoy it, let me see if I can find it and find you a photo. It's a little redundant in terms of, yeah, it's cool, but your deck didn't necessarily need it. I think it's great as a clarifier, but as a whole, especially being a new card, it's not necessarily super specific and helpful. And then the other card that he did is the Artist, which another card I really enjoy. And the Artist is the vessel of creation. So these cards do work hand in hand, but being that he's an artist and created this, I think these cards are kind of his way to put a signature on something. This is the Artist. You know, a lot of people have tried to do, and how do you make something so well known, unique? And I think Matt did a really mighty fine job doing that. The High Priestess is the cover, and she's one of the coolest cards in the deck, and one of my favorite versions of the High Priestess I've ever seen. Death is also one of the best cards in there. These cards are a great shape. They're a great size. I have tiny little hands and really enjoy kind of maneuvering these around. There are definitely decks I have that I don't play with very much because, oh, look, also Queen of Wands is super Frigga vibes with her kitty cat. And Queen of Wands is one of my cards because Suit of Fire. Yeah, love that. The other nice thing about this deck is even the warning cards, the cards that other decks treat as scary or the cards you don't want to see, like the Three of Swords, things that can be just a little off-putting. Temperance is a card I have a hard time with because it's balanced, and it's just so beautiful in this deck I can't be upset to see it. And that's kind of what I mean. Even the cards that aren't necessarily ones in other decks you want to see, they bring a different kind of levity with this deck, and it's not nearly as frightening, in my opinion, and it makes it a little bit, I don't know where the Well card is, I must have passed it. It makes it a little easier to digest the information because it's not trying to scare you off with it. So, that's my review so far. I'm going to do a single card pull for the collective and kind of give you a little taste of me as a reader. And then, I'm going to have another deck review for you. If you like this, be sure to like and subscribe to this channel. I do reviews on here quite often of different things, but also you can check out Vitches, which is 2 V's and the rest spelled like witches, so double V, Itches, of Locara, LOKHERA.com. And you can book a reading with myself or Kelly O'Hare, who's going to be doing the review after this. And again, make sure you like and subscribe to this channel so that you can see all the interesting, fun things we do. From sexy to spooky. All right. High Priestess. So the card for the collective. You're being called to answer. You're being called to self-examine, which is what this past moon, it's the 8th of May today, so we just had a full moon. You're being called to really self-examine and to level up. And unfortunately, that means a lot of different things for a lot of different people. But you are being asked to take the next step into your life, and only you're going to know what that is. So thank you for hanging out. I hope you had a good time. I hope you enjoy this deck. And when the Oracle deck that Matt has come in, I'll be doing another review of that and hopefully more soon. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Jessica. I'm Kelly O'Hare, and today I am reviewing the Witch Tarot deck by Lisa Sterrell. It's the modern Witch Tarot deck, and I've loved this deck. I've wanted it for a very long time, so I'm super excited to finally have it available to me. This deck is highly unique in that it's all females. It still presents a great masculine energy in a lot of the cards, like the Emperor here, which when looking online, I actually thought that there were men in this, and I was just very pleasantly surprised at how well this deck seems to balance and communicate with me all things feminine, but still be able to give you that masculine energy in connecting and communing with your cards. I also love this deck because the artist did this very special card. It is the 10 of Swords, but on the bottom it says, "Everything is fine." This is actually the first card that she made in the deck, and it's what sparked all of these other cards for her. Another thing that I really love about this deck is the diversity of it. As you can see, there's lots of characters like the Queen of Wands. There's also the Three of Cups, which I love because of the amount of diversity that's in it, as well as the Three of Pentacles, which if you can see in the back, it's a girl doing art of a nude model who looks like an actual average woman. I love that we're able to have this kind of connection with the deck. I feel like a lot of times I'm not able to sort of commune with a deck that really knows how to communicate with me. This deck isn't a very scary deck. In fact, it is quite soft, but it's still very truthful in telling you what you need to know and not holding back. But I like having something that's more gentle and nudging you in the direction that you'd like to go. Like, for example, this Wheel of Fortune card. I feel like a lot of times with the Wheel of Fortune, it feels more stressful and doom because you're never really sure where you are on the cycle. And I love how it's represented with the top and bottom. She's not under a huge amount of distress. She's just living her life and going through it while the other one's on top and having the best time. So I'm going to do a little card pull for you here. I've splayed out my favorite cards of the deck, so I'll leave those out so you can see them and do a quick shuffle and then pull a card. I'd like to thank Jessica for allowing me to do this review with her. Like and subscribe to this channel if you like these reviews. She does a lot of them often. And you can also visit Witches of Lokera. It's WITCH of LOKHERA.com. And you can also find us on Instagram. We have a bunch of card pulls as well as a few other fun, magical, witchy things over there. And since this card fell out during my shuffle, you can see here the King of Swords. And before I forget, before I read you that card to let you know what it means, I did want to point out how great her little booklet is. It's very small, very cut and to the point. She's got a lot of little extra sort of breaking down what things can mean, how to interpret them. But as she goes through the major arcana, she's got 1 page each for all of them, and then breaks it down into bite-sized chunks for all of the other cards, which, especially if you're learning, this is such a great deck because it's just enough information for you to understand what the card means and how to communicate with it without locking it down too much into one specific meaning, which is what I find a lot of times that I face with other tarot decks. So, for this King of Swords, the king is truly intelligent and is deeply concerned with truths, ethics, and honesty. The king usually brings with them a certain authority. They may be a role in your life. They're wise and usually seeking to push you forward. However, where they are concerned with knowledge and problem solving, they're also concerned with efficiency. Sometimes if you're the king or you identify with the king card, you lack tenderness and compassion sometimes with dealing with issues, and you need to learn to really face that, whether that be with you or with another person. And that's been my review of the Modern Witches Tarot deck by Lisa Sterling. Thanks so much for watching.